Good morning, all of you. Today we will discuss the security for next generation networks. And next generation networks, in short, we can say NGN. It means uh, ITUT, International Telecommunication Union, Telecommunication Standardization Sector, issued security requirements for next generation network. Released first in April 2007 in the form of the recommendation Y2701. This recommendation, this recommendation describes security threats and countermeasures based on the 8 security dimensions specified in the recommendation X805. And the basically NGN security architecture is described by the following elements: NGN security domains, NGN security services, and NGN security protocols supporting the security services. And some security threats against NGN networks are like that some destruction. It means an attack on availability refers to the destruction of an information and or network resources. A second one is corruption. Corruption means here corruption, an attack on integrity refers to unauthorized tampering with an asset. And next one is removal. Removal means an attack on availability refers to theft, removal or loss of information and or other resources. And next one is disclosure. Disclosure, an attack on confidentiality refers to unauthorized access to an asset. And next one is interruption. An attack on availability refers to network become unavailable or unusable. And next one is some security dimensions for protection of the NGN networks are access control. It means it protects against unauthorized use of the network resources. And authentication, it means it serves to confirm the identities of the communicating entities. Authentication ensures the validity of the claimed identities of the entities participating in communication. And non-repudiation, it provides means of preventing an individual or entity from denying having performed a particular action related to data by making available proof of various network related actions. And data confidentiality, it protects data from unauthorized disclosure. Next one is data confidentiality and communication security. It ensures that information flows only between the authorized endpoints. And data case, in case of the data integrity, it ensures the correctness or accuracy of the data. Availability means it ensures that there is no denial of authorized access to network elements, stored information, information flows, services, and application due to events impacting the networks. And last point is privacy. It provides for the protection of information that might be derived from the observation of the network activities. And the next point is, we already discussed that the ITUT. What is this? It means International Telecommunication Union, telecommunication standardization sector. That this recommendation describes security threats and countermeasures based on the 8 security dimensions specified in recommendation X805. The NGN security trust model that became the basis for Y2701 as shown in this figure. Here in this figure, this model is divided into 3 zones, as you can see in the diagrams, based on the trustworthiness of the engine constituent elements. The untrusted zone consists of equipment such as user terminals that cannot be directly controlled by the engine provider. In other words, it indicates a zone containing equipment that cannot be trusted. The trusted but vulnerable zone, on the other hand, is controlled by the engine provider and consists of equipment providing firewalls and other means of the defense. In this zone, equipment and users can be trusted, but threats could come directly from the outside. Finally, the trusted zone consists of the equipment controlled by engine provider, and it corresponds to a zone in which both equipment and users operators can be trusted. In the NGN, it means next generation network. Network border elements NVEs in the trusted but vulnerable zone defend against diverse attacks from the untrusted zone is that they engage in border defense. And for each zone, requirements that must be followed and measures that are advisable are specified. Requirements for engine provides as specified in this figure. Here are some requirements are there. You can see some requirements also there. This describes specified requirements such as equipment hardening, no backdoors, and it trails, logging, timestamping, resource allocation, and exception handling code, and system integrity and monitoring, and session initiation protocol SIP, pinhole control. And how you will achieve all these points? This is your achieving security in entities and NGN. How you will achieve? Taking into account the services to be provided, the standardization trends describes above, and internet attack trends. Entities aim for its NGN is to provide a safe and secure network. Here, in this diagram, as you can see, this diagram describes defense functions corresponding to NBEs, which are a distinctive feature of the NGN. NGN means next generation network. First point is access control for entire network. And by blocking packets from private address spaces using an NBE equivalent function, the NGN limits reachability from points outside the engine, outside terminals and other networks, unnecessary for its services to points within the NGN network equipment and various types of the servers. This function reduces the unauthorized access across the entire network. A second very important point is mitigating attacks by preventing spoofing. The NGN uses an NBE equivalent function to prevent spoofing related attacks that misrepresent the source IP. IP means Internet Protocol address or originating telephone number. This function mitigates various attacks made possible by misrepresenting the source IP address. For example, session disconnect attack caused by a false message, assuming the source IP address of the attack target, denial of service, DOS attack, exploiting replies to the misrepresented address, and other attacks that conceal the source of the attacks. This correspondence between source IP addresses and access lines can also be managed so that a source IP address can be investigated upon the detection of attack, like packets, and the originating access lines of the attacking packets can be determined. Third very important point is protection of SIP controlled communications. The engine provides a particularly robust defense function for SIP controlled session based communications that have quality and reliability requirements Specifically, the NGN uses an NVE equivalent function linked to SIP messages to open and close a pinhole so that communications between the terminals whose session has been established by SIP messages can use a priority bandwidth. By allowing only SIP controlled communications to use a priority bandwidth, this function can prevent the harmful effects of attacks that use large volumes of traffic from other users. So it ensures stable communication performance. The basic design and basic functions of an NGN aim to make it difficult for attack to occur and to enable the source to be determined if an attack should occur. However, an NGN services progress, we can expect to see new types of the attacks and risks. To deal quickly with these risks and achieve safety and security on an originally and ongoing basis, we will push forward in our next lecture. We will discuss about this, and today we discussed basically all of things, and